Okay, filleting a fish. Pretty easy fish to fillet. Nice kelp greenling I got today. My favorite knife are just these Normark Rapala. I think it's Rapala. Anyways, just these cheap ones you can get for like $6. Now they come with a sheath. This one is probably 6-7 years old. I've used it to clean at least a couple of deer. Lots of fish. I just hit it on the work sharp knife sharpener, nice and sharp. So I clean all my fish pretty much the same way. I start out, get down behind the gill plate, angle forward as much as I can, down to the backbone, come down to the stomach, cut across to the vent, to the anal fin. Then I will take the tip of the knife, just using the tip of the knife, follow the edge of the anal fin, down, turn it around, again tip of the knife, just feeling the edge of the, you're feeling those bones right there. It's more feel than look. Now again, this is one of the easiest fish to fillet, but I do all of my fish like this. So I stop at the backbone. See right there? You can see the bones. Then I turn it around. And I do the back the same way. Just using the tip of the knife. I'm never more than about 1/2 inch in. And this isn't necessarily the fastest way to fillet a fish, or the only way, of course. It's the way I've learned to do it. So now I've just broken the skin. And if I do it right, I'm just following the meat in, or the bones down. And you should pretty much hear that sound all the way. Right. And you can kind of lift it up. Work it in, and I try to stop at the spine. Because these fish, it's not as important, they're very flat. But other fish with big heads, if you take this side off, all of a sudden now you have this head and the fillet goes like this. And it's hard to do. So now I'll flip it over. Maybe give it a rinse here. And I have a very understanding wife who doesn't mind my filleting fish in the sink, because she enjoys eating them just as much as I do. Okay, down to the backbone, not through. Now on salmon, when I do this, I leave a nice thick piece here for smoked bellies. So now I come to this part. On the softer skinned fish, smaller scales, you can just cut in this way. You don't have to use the tip underneath. But on a fish that has larger scales, it's easier to cut from the bottom up. So I'll do the same thing over here, hopefully. Feel my way down. And see, I'm rarely ever using more than this part of the knife, that much of it, to do this kind of filleting. I like the narrow blade this way versus a fatter one. I have one of these Dexters. It's a nice fillet knife, but, oh, this is a Shakespeare, I guess, but Dexter style. I prefer this one. So I come back around. And then when it's nice and sharp, you can just run it right down the length of the fish. And I will be using this carcass for shrimp bait tomorrow. So I'm probably going to leave the skin attached if I can. So again, I'm just using the tip of the knife, riding those backbone bones down till I hit the spine. That's nice and flat. I usually do this facing me, not the camera, but since I don't have a way to hold the camera otherwise. Okay, now I've reached the backbone on both sides. These guys are easy. They have a fairly narrow or thin backbone. Fish with a bigger backbone, I like to do this instead of, some people will cut down and just do this. When you do that, you lose a big triangle of meat on each side of the backbone if it has a really large backbone. So now I have it done both sides. Now I'll come in and cut through the ribs, holding the meat up out of the way. And pretty much hard to get a much better fillet than that. So then I've got my nice handle here. I can just cut down. I work my way slowly. If you go all at once, a lot of times your blade will come up and you'll start losing a bunch of meat. There, no meat left. We'll get back to this. Now, just flip it over. Do it this way. Again, I'm just using the tip of the knife. Now I'm just cutting through those ribs. If you're filleting rockfish, those ribs are a lot harder. Lingcod are about the same as the greenling. So I'm just done going over the backbone. And flip it around. I like that this one actually worked really well. Sometimes you have to get creative getting back around that spine, but for the vertical spine bones. Sharp knife is very, very important. But this narrow blade, I feel like I can follow things better and more easily. So, here's the fish. Okay, so, alright, I missed a little bit of meat up in the top there. The shrimp need to eat too. If it was a lingcod, I'd take the cheek. Salmon, I'd take the belly. This is perfect shrimp bait for tomorrow. Rinse my board. Okay, now, got your ribs still in here. Sometimes on a big ling, I can, when I come in, I'll just cut through those bones that stick vertically. I'll cut through those and then I'll follow the ribs down and fillet them out all attached. This way, you can see there's the bones that come out from the ribs out to the side or go to right there. You can catch it there. So then I just come in on the rib side first, to as close as I can to there. Gently go down, feeling my way. I don't want to hit them. I don't want to cut through the ribs either. So as soon as I hit the rib bones, then I stop. I turn the knife just like I did for the skin. Threw a little bit too much there. Perfect fillet is not so perfect anymore. But these guys don't have a lot of meat on the ribs, unlike a lingcod that has quite a bit. You just kind of feel your way across. Okay, and then you come back to this side. You cut in towards those bones. So you're following them down with just the tip of your knife. Salmon, of course, you just cut through the white bones and deal with them however. And you cut back here. And there's a little bit of meat there. If you're making stock, you can toss that in with your stock, or it makes good shrimp bait. There. Nice boneless fillet. And this technique works for pretty much any kind of fish I've ever tried. You know, tuna and halibut have their peculiarities. You just feel for any little fin bones you might have missed. But, you know, pretty nice piece of meat there. Do the other side real quickly. Just the bones. Oh man. Get flat on the table, on the cutting board. Now that one worked better. And again, I'll repeat, this is not the fastest way to fillet a fish. I will readily admit that. However, when you can just about read a newspaper through the fillet or through the backbone area, I would say it's an effective way to fillet fish. There. Again, perfect. Oops. You just feel around. I think I felt, yep, one little piece of bone there. And voila. Hopefully that helps somebody down the road. I've been meaning to do that for a few years because I have friends always asking me about that. So there it is. Enjoy. Good fishing, everybody.